What if the greatest battle of a warrior's life didn't happen during war, but on the journey back home? After surviving years of destruction and chaos, one man faces storms, monsters, betrayal, and the wrath of the gods, all while trying to return to the people he loves. And now, legendary director Christopher Nolan is bringing this timeless story to life with The Odyssey. This isn't just another movie. This could be Nolan's biggest cinematic experience ever. Today, we're breaking down the story, the insane hype, the visuals, the cast, and why the entire internet is already obsessed with this movie. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why The Odyssey might become one of the biggest films of the decade. Part 1. What is The Odyssey? 1 minute to 3 minutes. For those who don't know, The Odyssey is one of the most famous stories ever written. It was created thousands of years ago by the Greek poet Homer, and it follows the journey of Odysseus, a legendary warrior trying to make it home after the Trojan War. Sounds simple, right? Not even close. On his way home, Odysseus faces terrifying sea monsters, deadly storms, magical temptations, betrayal from his own crew, and even angry gods determined to destroy him. But at its core, this story is really about survival, sacrifice, loneliness, and the emotional cost of war. And honestly, that's exactly why Christopher Nolan is the perfect director for this project. Part 2. Why the hype is insane. 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Let's be honest. Whenever Christopher Nolan announces a new movie, the entire internet pays attention. This is the same director who gave us Interstellar, Inception, The Dark Knight, and Oppenheimer. Nolan doesn't just make movies, he creates experiences. And now he's taking one of the greatest adventure stories ever told and turning it into a massive IMAX epic. That combination alone is enough to create huge hype. Reports say the movie is being filmed with large format IMAX cameras, meaning the visuals are expected to be absolutely breathtaking. Fans are already calling this the next Interstellar level masterpiece, and honestly, they might be right. Part 3. Story expectations, 5 to 8. Now let's talk about what we could actually see in the movie. The story will likely begin after the Trojan War, with Odysseus trying to finally return home to Ithaca. But the journey becomes a nightmare. We may see giant cyclops creatures, deadly sirens, massive ocean storms, dangerous islands, psychological breakdowns, and heartbreaking losses along the way. But here's what makes this exciting. Christopher Nolan probably won't focus only on action and monsters. He's going to focus on the human mind, the fear, the isolation, the guilt, the trauma. That's what Nolan does better than almost anyone in Hollywood. At its heart, this movie could become a deeply emotional story about a man trying to find himself again after losing everything. Part 4. The visuals and cinematic experience, 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Visually, this movie could be absolutely insane. Imagine giant ships crashing through storms, endless dark oceans, massive practical effects, and beautiful IMAX cinematography filling the screen. Christopher Nolan is famous for using real locations and practical effects instead of relying heavily on CGI. That's why his movies feel so real and immersive. And if the rumors are true, The Odyssey might become one of the most visually stunning movies ever made. The sound design and music are also going to be a huge part of the experience. If Nolan brings in another powerful cinematic score like Interstellar or Oppenheimer, the theater experience could be unforgettable. This feels like the kind of movie people will have to watch on the biggest screen possible. Part 5. Cast and Performances, 11 o'clock to 13 o'clock. One thing Nolan movies always deliver is incredible performances. The role of Odysseus is extremely challenging because the actor has to portray strength, intelligence, emotional pain, leadership, and complete exhaustion all at once. This isn't just a warrior role, it's a deeply human character. And if the performances land emotionally, this movie could easily become a major awards contender, possibly even Oscars. Part 6. Can this movie break records? 1300 to 1500. So the big question is, can the Odyssey become one of the biggest movies of the year? Honestly, yes. Here's why. Christopher Nolan has one of the strongest fan bases in cinema. Mythology stories are globally popular. IMAX demand is already massive, and audiences love epic cinematic experiences. After Oppenheimer, Nolan proved that people will absolutely show up for serious, ambitious filmmaking, and the Odyssey feels even bigger. Final verdict: 15 minutes to end. At the end of the day, the Odyssey feels like more than just a movie. It feels like an event, a story about survival, loss, hope, and the painful journey back home. If Christopher Nolan truly delivers on the emotional and visual scale of this project, this could become one of the defining films of modern cinema. And honestly, the hype might actually be justified. So what do you think? Are you excited for the Odyssey? And what's your favorite Christopher Nolan movie of all time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love movie reviews, Hollywood breakdowns, and cinematic